Hey guys, it's the Tominator. So I wasn't planning on reviewing this one since it's a smaller show, and I didn't catch the live stream, but thankfully it ended up being a pretty good head-to-head battle, so let's take a look. This was your top two callout at the 2022 Indy Pro, featuring Blessing Awodibu on the left and Charles Griffen on the right. Both of these guys were markedly improved since their previous showings. Blessing looked to have put on about 10 pounds of muscle. I'm not sure of his actual stage weights, but he was noticeably beefier than last year. And Griffen was more defined and streamlined through the waist. He really worked on that vacuum shot, and it was paying dividends. Anyway, here in this front double, I like both of them, but I'm going to go with Blessing. He's wider across the shoulders and from elbow to elbow, and his waist is smaller, so he cuts the better outline. The biceps are incredible, definitely his standout body part, and look at how his tiny ass wrists make his forearms bulge out like that. My biggest critique is his posing, which still needs some practice, and you can see this elsewhere as well, but here he should bring his elbows up just a bit because the angle of the arms is off. He might be doing that deliberately to sort of compensate for his lagging triceps, since he's got biceps to spare, but it still looks a little off to my eyes, at least from this angle. So yeah, the tricep sweep has got to improve, and also the quads still need work, but otherwise this is a killer shot for him. Charles looks great too in his own right. I'd argue that he's more balanced in the sense that he's not really missing anything, but he doesn't have that awe-inspiring structure like Blessing. Still, he's making the most of what he's got, and sucking in the stomach like that really helps minimize the waistline, which could look kind of blocky at times in the past, so that's a smart move on his part for sure. But I feel that in addition to everything I said before, Blessing was a little harder from the front though, so he takes this one. And that was just prejudging. A second look from the finals pretty much confirms it. Griffen looks maybe slightly drier now, but Blessing seemed to have held his condition, and has even improved his posing by raising the arms a bit like I mentioned. I still think the extra wide stance is a bit too much. He's clearly compensating for his lack of outer quad sweep, and I'm not buying it. But overall, this is great stuff, and I give him the 1-0 lead. The front lat spread is tough, but based on this pick, it's Griffen for me. The angle may be in his favor, but he looks wider and way more developed through the lats. The thighs are also thicker with those meaty adductors. The chest is nicely striated, and he looks terrific here. Don't get me wrong, Blessing looks good too, a solid X-frame with that tiny waist, and powerful pecs and arms, but the lats themselves are undercooked. He's got to work on that, maybe do more pullovers and underhanded pull-downs, or whatever, but he's got to make those wings pop from the front. And again, in the finals, I give it to Griffen, although he doesn't look as good here compared to the last photo. I prefer Blessing's chest and delts, but in terms of the lats, the legs, and that coveted V-shape, it's no contest. The side chest could have gone either way in my opinion. Both of them look really good, but neither totally crushes it. Charles shows a ton of density for the most part, but his chest is too flat. And the tie-ins downstairs could be sharper. Blessing, likewise, is missing that super crisp separation through the legs and arms, but his pecs are thicker. And for that reason alone, I think he takes it. So my rule of thumb is that if a pose is close like this, whoever edges it out in the namesake body part, be that the chest in the side chest or the abs in an ab and thigh, that should be the deciding factor. This second look from the finals isn't the best. The angle's off for Charles, and Blessing doesn't seem like he's fully set in the pose. But either way, I'm sticking with my original call here. Turning around, the back double biceps goes to Griffen. Blessing's got all kinds of round, bubbly muscle popping off in those shoulders and traps, but the lats still need to come up a bit, and his arms don't look as good here from the back as they did from the front. Griffen's got an advantage in those departments. He's got more muscle maturity as well, and is overall drier from the back. Just check out the hamstrings, and it's pretty clear who's more conditioned in this one. However, I will say that in the finals, Griffen wasn't quite as peeled in this pose, whereas Blessing looks even more impressive up top, and is leaning back into the pose better, so I could definitely see an argument for him now. Heck, I would actually give it to him here, so let's tentatively give him a tie, I guess. But if you're forcing me to choose, I would probably still lean towards Griffen for his greater overall development through the back, but it looks like he slipped a little compared to prejudging. So, on to the rear lat spread, and forgive the quality on this. It's a bit dark, but it'll have to do since I didn't find many good alternatives. I've got Griffen here handily. Way more powerful looking through the traps. He looks sort of like Ronnie used to there, whereas Blessing really flattens out, more like a Kai Green. To his credit, Blessing does look pretty big and full through the lats now, but the traps are the difference maker. Plus, Griffen is once again crisper through the hams. And here's a second look. The angle's off, obviously, but this better quality at least lets us take their conditioning into consideration, and in that regard, Griffen comes out on top. Not a bad shot for Blessing by any means, but I just feel he needs to continue to grow to really fill out these lat spreads. The guy's got such a big frame, right? That simply takes time and patience. For the side tricep, unfortunately I could only find one photo where they were both flexing at the same time, and this has got to be Blessing. You can pick up way more detail on his physique right now, whether it's the abs or the quads. Turning to the front like this, neither guy is really presenting the triceps super effectively, so that's why these other body parts become more of a focal point. For the abs and thigh, we've got a couple different picks to examine. First, in the vacuum, to be honest, Griffen is kicking butt. Might have just been a timing thing, but his stomach is noticeably more sunken in, with that pronounced lower ribcage jutting out. He takes this version easily. Even when crunched down, I'm not a fan of Blessing here. The obliques are spilling over pretty badly, and that's distracting and it spoils his normally streamlined flow. It's a shame because he's got a tremendous set of abs, but this ain't a good look right now. However, can Griffen really be awarded the ab shot by virtue of a vacuum? I don't know, that's a little weird to me. We are supposed to be judging the muscles of the midsection, aren't we? And to that end, it's Blessing all day. This side shot is a clear win for him. Although Griffen looks respectable too, but his abs are kind of faded. So overall, this is a tricky one to call, and it depends, I guess, on how much you fetishize the vacuum. For me, this has always been a nice bit of icing on the cake, so to speak, but it's not sufficient on its own. So I would still lean towards Blessing in the ab shot, since he's got the better midsection hands down. But let me know who you think deserves this one in the comments, because Charles presented well, and I could see arguments for both sides. Finally, in the most muscular, I'm going with Griffen here. Excellent arms, particularly that outer tricep sweep, very striated pecs, big legs. Really, there's just a couple things that would improve this shot for him. One would be more visible ab muscles. Two would be larger, more capped delts to help augment his width up top, but even so, this is solid stuff. Blessing looks way too lean through the arms here. He's got basically zero triceps, so I would not suggest this variation in the future. If he's gonna do something like this, he'd probably be better off taking a page from the late Sean Roden's playbook and going with the two hands on hip, leaning forward more to put more emphasis on the shoulders and abs and overall structure, and take it off of the arms. Of course, he'd also have to close his stance a bit too, which he seems scared to do because he knows it'll expose his lack of outer quadriceps. But whatever, I'd be curious to see it, because this one right here ain't quite doing it for me. The crab shot is moderately better. Not sure if he was fully locked in here, but he needs to bend over more. There's no need to stand so upright, especially given his height. He definitely impresses through the chest and shoulders now, though. The dude looks wide as hell. Yet Charles still outdoes him. Despite being so narrow, he's totally filled out his frame. The traps are mountainous, the chest is bursting with detail, the arms and shoulders and legs all look very good. And perhaps best of all, they obscure his weak midsection completely, so that becomes a total non-factor. Imagine if he had, say, another 2 to 3 inches of width and some better calves. This would be a total knockout. But even as is, he's clearly found more effective ways to present his physique compared to Blessing here, so Griffen takes the final pose. In the end, it was indeed super close. I gave Blessing the front double, side chest, side triceps, and ab and thigh. Charles took the front and rear lat spreads, the back double, and the most muscular. So it was a 4-4 split, and almost every pose was up for grabs. Considering this, I find it somewhat surprising that Blessing won this contest with perfect scores. I would have thought at least one judge would have sided with Griffen, especially during prejudging. But then again, I can see why they went with Blessing. The IFBB seems hell-bent on getting away from blocky waistlines and subpar midsections and these quote-unquote bubble guts, right? So if it's at all close, that is often proving to be the deciding factor these days. We saw it at the Arnold a couple months ago with a rather subpar Brandon Curry beating an otherwise superior but blockier William Bonac. And here again, if we're talking aesthetics and structure, this is a no-brainer. So I don't have a problem with the outcome, really. I just think it was closer than the official scorecards would indicate. Anyway, that's all for this one. Thanks for taking the time and tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all on the next one, whenever that may be. So I'm going to kind of take a more casual approach to covering contests now. I used to try to review every single show religiously, but at this point, I'm not really trying to grow the channel, and it gets tedious when you see the same 3 or 4 guys every time. We had a lot of that in the past couple years. Plus, with all the crazy shit going on around the world recently, bodybuilding just doesn't interest me as much as it used to. So we're going to kind of take things one day at a time and play it by ear. So until we meet again, it's the Tominator signing off, and I'll be back.